yeah, tell us a little bit about how you started to, and this is more so a little bit more for me, and I think the audience can take something from it as well. You started creating content on really Photoshop, education there, and we talked a little bit about this on your Twitter Spaces a little bit. But first off, why did you decide to do that? And did you expect to, and this might not have been where it turned, might not have been like, what's it call it? In my mind, I just see your content online, and I'm sure Adobe saw this and were like, wow, this is somebody we probably need internally. And that ended up like turning your career into doing what you were doing on YouTube, but for the Adobe brand. That's how I see it. Is that kind of what had happened as well? Or is there a total other story that nobody really knows about? And you just like, yeah. So what happened with that? I just see that. Okay, give us the full slash half story.
If you go from the start to the end, it's more or less that. But there was a whole roller coaster in between. So I started teaching Photoshop 16 years ago, like I mentioned. And at the time, YouTube was brand new. So there was basically nobody. I think it was me and Nathaniel Dodson who started uploading Photoshop tutorials to YouTube. And I did it because I was in college. I was studying 3D animation, going through a rough time in my life. So I had to drop college for a little bit, and I needed something to keep my mind occupied. So YouTube again was new. So I just jumped on there. I knew Photoshop really well. So I decided to upload a video and see what the heck happened. And it was an ugly video. It was terrible. It was, the quality sucked. It was 4:3. Basically a bunch of pixels on the screen. And, the comments reflected that. I was brand new to this whole thing. The video's still there, actually. You can go watch it. It's brutal. But, I just want to see what happened. And it kind of snowballed from there, probably because nobody was doing it. So, that kind of caught on. I was doing that for a few years. And at the beginning, I had no idea what I was going to do. It was just something as a hobby. So I had no expectations at all. I just figured it would keep my mind busy for a little bit and I'd figure something else out. And at some point, I think in 2008, YouTube introduced monetization on the platform. So that allowed me to do it sort of for a living. At one point I was making decent money for, a 19, 20-year-old living in his parents' basement, essentially. And that eventually connected me with my wife and girlfriend at the time, and things kind of blossomed from there. So life kind of shifted a little bit to focus on that. And then I think it was in 2012, YouTube's algorithm changed. A lot more people were on the platform, so my content just started plummeting. So I needed to make some sort of a shift. So I think in 2014, I landed a job at a YouTube marketing company. My voice is going already. I haven't even been speaking for very long.
It's Monday, Howard.
It is Monday.
The rest of the week is going to be rocky.
I know. 2014 to about 20... I did that for about 4 years, so I don't know what that is, 2018, something like that. And around that time, Adobe XD was starting to kind of get introduced. I was at Max, I think it was in 2015 when they introduced it. And I'm like, this looks kind of interesting. I'm going to start making videos on Adobe XD and see what happened. Because, I did the Photoshop thing previously, and I kind of knew that Adobe wasn't really looking for additional Photoshop instructors. They have plenty of them. So I figured, XD's new. Let's see what happens. So I made a video. The first video was actually, let's try to break XD, because it was so powerful. And I think that caught the eye of somebody at Adobe. So I started talking with them, and it kind of just went from there.
I hope you guys liked this episode. If you did, you can find more build from scratch website tutorials with me right here, or you can find more Editor X tips and tricks in this playlist over here. With that said, I hope to see you guys in another video. And of course, if you liked this episode and what we're doing here on this channel, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next one.